There is a fourth grade Christian science book that was brought to my attention today, and I thought I would share it with you guys. I thought it was fascinating. And this textbook was actually created for homeschool curriculum, okay? So some Christian parents would homeschool their children, and they would use this specific science textbook. It's the Science Student Text Grade 4. That's all it's titled.
Okay.
And it was also published, the fourth edition was published in 2003 by Bob Jones University.
Oh, well, there you go. So instantly in trouble. Bob Jones University is a clown university. For a long time, they did not even, all the way up to last decade, they did not allow blacks and whites to date on campus, okay? Clowns of the earth.
They are, okay. So I want to read you a part of the book where they talk about electricity, and I just thought this was hilarious, okay? So they say, electricity is a mystery. No one has ever observed it or heard it or felt it. We can see and hear and feel only what electricity does. We know that it makes light bulbs, light bulbs shine and irons heat up and telephones ring, but we cannot say what electricity itself is like. So then I'm going to skip forward to the last paragraph. It says, how would you have to change the way you get ready for school if you did not use electricity? And then it just randomly says a Psalms, what do you call it, verse? The voice of thy thunder was in the heaven, the lightnings lightened the world, the earth trembled and shook.
Now, you know why? Look, now I'm going to be a little bit of an ass. It's because, look, I'm agnostic, I don't believe, right? So they have to desperately look for answers in a book that's 2,000 years old that doesn't have the answers to where electricity comes from. And since it doesn't have the answer, they're like, electricity, I don't know where it comes from. That's crazy. It's God magic, right? But I found a verse that has lightning in it. That's pretty close. Hence, God must have been referring to that. I'll throw that verse in there. It will confuse people, and they'll go, oh, of course, Psalm 77:18.
No, guys, the whole point of that is this. You can't see electricity. No one has seen electricity. You can only see what electricity has done. Don't you see? It's an analogy to God. No one has seen God. You can't touch God. You can't explain it. Doesn't mean he doesn't exist. That's what the whole thing's about. It's another way of brainwashing about this whole belief system.
Ah, I see. I didn't know that this light bulb over here was God. I'm sorry, God. Now, look, understand, of course, this isn't all Christians. Bob Jones is fairly radical, very fundamentalist, homeschooling, et cetera, right? Now, it reminded me of another crazy religious guy, though, who also doesn't have the explanations to things. And well, let me tell you, it's Bill O'Reilly. And he's going to be talking to an atheist here. And he thinks he's going to prove his case by using the example of the tides. Okay, it sounds so similar to this. Watch.
Tide goes in, tide goes out. Never a miscommunication. You can't explain that. You can explain why the tide goes in.
Tide goes in, tide goes out.
See, the water, the tide comes in, and it goes out, Mr. Silverman.
Who can I explain it? It must be God. I can't explain electricity. Tide comes in, tide goes out. I can't explain the tide. It must be God. Well, yeah, Mr. Silverman, can't explain it. Gotta be God.